Hey everyone, it's Julie. Today we'll be making pumpkin and beef stew. And I know it's cliche, but I'm still going to say it. This is perfect for the fall. You have the pumpkin in there, it's comforting, very simple to make. Kind of throw everything in a pot and let it cook itself kind of dish, but nonetheless, it's very delicious. So let's get started. Here I have 2.5 pounds of beef. I seasoned it with some kosher salt and pepper. My mom and aunts must be cringing at the fact that I didn't use adobo for this. Here's the thing, not every piece of meat needs to be over seasoned. I agree, some dishes can be terribly bland, but some dishes can be terribly over seasoned as well. Before you use every spice in your pantry, ask yourself, what is this? Why am I adding this paprika? For color, smokiness, spice, smell, taste. Really learn your spices before dumping them all in. That's very important. I poured a tablespoon of all-purpose flour. I didn't want to use too much. You can certainly fully coat each piece with the flour. I plan on cooking this for a really long time, so didn't want the stew to thicken up too quickly. So in a really hot pan, I used some vegetable oil. I'm going to sear the meat on both sides over high heat for about 3 to 4 minutes. I don't like to overcrowd the pan. I don't like the meat to touch. What happens when you overcrowd the pan is that your meat tends to steam instead of sear, and we want the meat to have a nice color. We're then going to do the second batch. The second batch, I just dump all of the remaining meat in there. Touching or not, they're all getting cooked. I have patience with the first batch. Second batch, I'm like, there's not going to be a third batch. So cook the second batch for the same amount of time you did the first batch. Now we're going to add in our onions and some rosemary. You want to cook it over medium-low heat. If you're anything like me, you're thinking, deglaze the pan. Deglaze the pan, Julie, please. Give me a minute. Let's saute our garlic and ginger first. So in total, I cooked the onions and rosemary for about 5 minutes. I added some red chili flakes, some tomato paste, and finally our minced garlic and ginger. Fresh, of course. I know they sell garlic and ginger paste. No. Well, I am not a fan of that. If you have it, use it, of course. And now we're going to finally deglaze our pan. I used some red wine. You may replace the wine with some extra beef stock. You want to let the alcohol reduce. This looks really good. There's lots of flavor in this. I could pass it through a sieve and serve it as steak sauce, seriously. Go ahead and throw in all of your beef along with some canned diced tomatoes, a bay leaf, a splash of Worcestershire sauce, some beef stock, and a little bit of apple cider vinegar. You may use white vinegar, but since it's fall and all, apple sounded better. Give everything a mix. I added a bit more of beef stock. Make sure most of the meat is covered. Season with some salt and pepper. I added a little bit of cinnamon. This really is a fall dish, what can I say? And in case you notice, I did make this about 1.5 years ago. It was one of my first videos. Very painful to watch. Who knows, in a year I might say the same about my most recent videos. Alright, cover this slightly and let it cook for about an hour. Give everything a stir, check for seasoning, and finally, let's add in our pumpkin. You may use any type of pumpkin you prefer. Also, I must mention that you can certainly omit the beef and make this a complete pumpkin stew and add other different vegetables to this. Of course, replace the beef stock with some vegetable stock. Let's cover this and cook it for an additional 20 to 25 minutes or until the beef and pumpkin are forks tender. So in total, I cooked this for about 1.5 hours. This looks perfect for me, not too thick, not too watery. Of course, the longer you cook the stew, the thicker it will get. The pumpkin held its shape beautifully, the beef did too. You know what's a great idea to make this with? Beef short ribs instead of boneless beef. I think that would be fantastic as well. I really wished I had some garlic naan for this. That would have been heaven. I just served this over white rice. I sprinkled a little bit of parsley on top. My grandpa was over for dinner. He was confused as to why no potatoes or olives. Cuban beef stew calls for potatoes and olives, but he ended up loving this, thankfully. I have a feeling you guys will too. If I made this twice on my channel, it's for a reason. I really hope you guys give this recipe a try. Hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you all so much for watching.